Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome to AHAS KIRKHS election workshop, whereby if all of you attended the town hall this morning, all of you must have known that our kuliah will be hosting a brand new election, which will be starting on 29th of November. Hence, with the spirit of accountability in pure intention to assist our next generation of student representative in AHAS KIRKHS, now we are here to inform all of you on the context of AHAS KIRKHS Student Society, and I am here assisted and also joined by our Vice President 1 of IRKHSSS Student Society, Sister Dayini, for session 1, and Brother Aliff Naif and also Sister Nazifah, our Treasurer and also our Secretary, will have their session at 4 p.m. inshallah. So I would like to ask Sister Dayini, how are you, Sister? How's your feeling after the AGM yesterday?
Alhamdulillah, I feel relieved or not yet sad to leave the tenure because I feel like I have learned a lot working together with you guys. But I'm also looking forward and excited to see the new faces of IRKHSSS this upcoming election.
Exactly. I think being in the system itself, it is very different than being a normal civilian from outside, because we know the bureaucracy as well as what is needed to rational our mindset, and to always answer to our stakeholders in the kuliah, as well as the stakeholders in outside of the kuliah, especially to our students in AHAS KIRKHS. I believe that it is a duty that needed to be fulfilled by the student society like AHAS, like IRKHS Student Society, in terms of our accountability and also our responsibility as the student society to ensure a good continuity for everyone. Before we will start, I will spread the link of um, the session first, because I would like a lot of people to be enlightened more on the nature. So I will spread it first, then we will start in a bit, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, I will be the first presenter for our workshop this evening. And as the president of IRKHSS Student Society 2021, inshallah, I will be explaining an overview of AHAS KIRKHSS Student Society. As everyone has known that we are currently called AHAS KIRKHSS to commemorate the contribution of our second rector, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Abdul Hamid Ahmad Abu Sulaiman. Hence, we are now Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kuliah of Islamic Arabic Knowledge and Human Sciences, AHAS KIRKHSS. Brothers and sisters, AHAS KIRKHSS is the biggest kuliah in IUM. Out of 14 kuliah in our university, we are the biggest kuliah, containing 4,500 students of undergraduate, 1,500 students of postgraduate, more than 200 academic staff. Hence, now I will be explaining on what can you expect in being a student representative in AHAS KIRKHSS. The background of my presentation today will revolve on AHAS KIRKHSS student societies, the role of student society in AHAS KIRKHSS, as well as the stakeholders that all of you needs to know and needs to be responsible on in terms of your groundwork in the student society that maybe you are interested. The brief background of IRKHSS Student Society is that it is IRKHSSS. It is the Kuliah-based society of AHAS KIRKHSS, which oversees and works closely with the administration of the Kuliah in taking care of the welfare and academic affairs of 4,500 undergraduate students consisting of local and international students from 11 departments. The differences in society, if maybe all of you may still not clear on what are the differences between the society in IIUM, is that IIUM Student Union is the largest, or it is the umbrella body of all society in IIUM, whereby they represent the whole students of IIUM, and they are also Kuliah-based society as well as Mahallah Representative Council. So our friends in MRC are responsible for Mahallah matters, and our friends in Kuliah-based society are responsible in Kuliah matters. So AHAS KIRKHSS Student Society, who are we and what do we, who are the societies that are responsible in our Kuliah? Number one is we need to distinguish the difference between a Kuliah-based society with the department-based secretariat. Number one, Kuliah-based society is in our Kuliah is AHAS, is Islamic Arabic Knowledge and Human Sciences Student Society, IRKHSSS, and we have department-based secretariats, which is a Secretariat of Psychology, Secretariat of Communication, Secretariat of English Language and Literature, Secretariat of Arabic Language and Literature, Secretariat of History and Civilization, Secretariat of Political Science, Sociology and Anthropology, Fiqh and Usul al-Fiqh, Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, as well as Secretariat of Quran and Sunnah. So these department-based secretariats are those that are representing the department, and it is the society that is representing each department in AHAS KIRKHSS except the Department of Fundamental and Interdisciplinary Studies, because they don't have a student in the department. There is an addition of 3 secretariats, because for IRK, our friend in IRK, they used to have only ISRA, which is Islamic Arabic Knowledge Association. Now it is divided into 3, whereby each department in IRK will be having their own secretariat, which is Secretariat of Fiqh and Usul Fiqh, Usuluddin, Comparative Religion, and Quran and Sunnah. This is another big change that is happening, as well as the change in the democratic empowerment in our Kuliah. We have an election for all chairperson now, all chairperson of the department-based secretariats that all of you are looking at. Hence, we will be having a 17 seat of election, 7 from IRKHSSS main boards, and also 10 from each department. So it is a big change in terms of how we see student activism will be in our Kuliah, because it will go from the department, even your leader in your department will be chosen by you, the student of AHAS KIRKHS, and the kuliah-based society will also be chosen by the student of AHAS KIRKHS. What is IRKHSSS vision? Our vision is integration towards perfection. And I have repeated this many times in a lot of our talk on IRKHSSS, that we are looking at the integration of not only between the studies, but as well as on the community of IRKHS. Why do I say so? In integration, we are looking into the integration between our interdisciplinary studies. We have 11 departments which are which are ranging from social sciences, humanities, and also Islamic revealed knowledge. This is a kuliah that is one of its kind. You go to America, you go to Egypt, you go to other university in all over the world. In IUM only you can find a faculty that integrate both knowledge of social sciences as well as Islamic revealed knowledge. Hence, we would like to integrate the knowledge of both disciplines, Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences, as well as we would like to integrate and play our role as KBS in integrating the students and the community of KIRKHS in terms of its students, local and international, students with lecturers, and students with the community and surrounding members of our kuliah and university. Hence, in the integration process, we would like to seek for perfection in terms of a harmonious society of Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences kuliah. Now, our mission is to act as a federal and central authority governing the secretariats to foster the bond of unity and integrate students under one banner of the kuliah, and also to organize centralized and kuliah level programs. My presentation today won't be, I will try to be as general as possible so that you can relate if you want to run for the department-based secretariats. And so if you would like to run for Secretary of Political Science, for example, I will try to be as general as possible in terms of my presentation today. But for IRKHSSS, just to distinguish between KBS and the department-based secretariat, is that we are responsible for kuliah level program. So if you are planning to run for SOKASA or KOSA, for example, then you may run and you need to know the role of the department-based secretariats in terms of who are you responsible to, the department, and how many students do you have, what kind of programs that the department would like to ask you to collaborate and to conduct or host. Hence, these are the differences in the mission or the background of IRKHSSS as well as the department-based secretariats in our kuliah. We have activities such as kuliah briefing, KIRKHS Academy, IRKHS Championship, KUSEF Interkuliah Sports Festival, and also IRKHS Festival and AHAS KIRKHS election. Hence, all of the items that I've mentioned is a kuliah level program. And another thing is that on integration or seminar or talk on integration between IRK and HICHES, this is what we did with Professor Kamal Hassan, where we expounded his lecture on the gap between, or bridging the gap between Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences, and essentially is the essence or the ethos of the establishment of the kuliah. Another thing would be on any other activities deemed necessary in fulfilling the objective of the society from time to time. So these are the activities of IRKHSSS, which is similar if you convert it to the department role. For example, if you are Secretariat of Communication, hence it will be for the department briefing. You can see kuliah briefing here, it can be department briefing, seminar on communication, field, or any other activities that deemed fulfilling for the society. Next, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the organizational structure of IRKHSSS. Since 2014 that IRKHSSS was established, this is the first time that even the Council of Chairpersons, which means the chairperson of all secretariat or the department-based secretariats, are included in our organizational structure, because we would like to show the diversity or the diverse community of AHAS KIRKHS. We don't only have the kuliah-based society, which is IRKHS Society, but we also have the department-based secretariat. Hence, at the top, you can see the president, vice president, secretary, and also the treasurer. Hence, the top position are all elected by the students. And if you are interested, please listen and stay at this lecture to get to know the gist of being a kuliah-based society representative. And we have 4 councils in IRKHSSS. This is one of its kind as well. Other KBS, they may have more than 5 council, or they may call it bureau, or maybe their directors. We have Student Affairs and Welfare Council, Academic and Intellectual Council, Information, Publication and Corporate Communication Council, as well as Spiritual, Islamization and Community Engagement Council size. So we have 4 councils that are responsible in any of the matters which is on the kuliah level. Sorry. Okay. Now is the Council of Chairperson. We have 8 secretariats before in our kuliah. But if all of you can see, Brother Afif Azim is the chairperson of ISRA. Now it is not, it will be changed into 3 separate department-based secretariat in IRK. Now this is the main board of IRKHSSS, which acts as a coordination body between the kuliah and all secretariats under KRKHS, official intermediary between the students and kuliah administration. Hence, I will be explaining later on our stakeholder as the kuliah-based society in AHAS KirkHS. So the main board plays a very important role in being the mediator between the students to the administration, between the department-based secretariat to the deanery, hence a big amanah and responsibility for the next and upcoming tenure. We have councils that I have explained before, Student Affairs and Welfare and others, and I will be explaining a bit on each of their role, because if you are planning to run for IRKHS Student Society, I believe that the formation of the council would play a very important role in how IRKHSSS will look like. We are free in our constitution. It says that we are free to change any kind of council that we deem necessary. For example, this we have 4, and I would suggest that we may have 5 in the next tenure to include entrepreneurship council, because the kuliah is currently empowering their kuliah entrepreneurship committee, which is called Kent. And I think it is time to look beyond our disciplines as well, to involve ourselves in entrepreneurship initiatives. Hence why I think it would be wise if we add another council next tenure. Why we did 4? Because we looked into the current context when we started our organization. We had 7 before. For example, we had Sports and Recreation Council. So in COVID times, we don't need that. So we scrap that out. So we stick with 4 councils. And next, if you think that whatever council is necessary, you may add them so, because in our constitution, they don't have anything to add. They don't have anything to that says we cannot add any other councils that we deem necessary. Next is SISE, Spiritual, Islamization and Community Engagement Council, IRKHS Society. Their role is to enhance spirituality and Islamization for KRKHS students and create a greater engagement for the Gombak community, and to bring the importance of spirituality and Islam together for the community of AHAS KRKHS. What we try to bring differently is that we try to integrate between community engagement with spirituality, because in terms of our engagement with the community, it must have something to do with spirituality, whereby even in Islam, it says that we have to take care of our neighbors. La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsi. Your iman is not complete if you don't love for your brother what you love for yourself. So in terms of community engagement, it has a direct correlation with spirituality and Islamization. Hence, these are some of the projects that they had done in terms of improving our comprehension with hadith, as well as in Quranic verses. We did spiritual events. They also host a bonding session between IRKHS Society members. And they also have, this one is the most important item in SISE, which is Gombak Sejahtera Engagement Team, GSET, Why do I say it's very important? Because GSET is a team that caters to spread positive values for the Gombak community. Hence, we could see that if you follow Sejahtera for You channel in YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, as well as website, it tries to spread positivity to the Gombak community and also the Ayam community with a different kind of approach. We had positive videos, we had inspirational youth that shared on what on how can they share their sharing, how can they share their experiences in terms of their engagement with the community, as well as collaboration with Islamic ethics and Islamic da'wah classes in terms of to fulfilling holistic student development initiatives by the kuliah. So GSET is an asset for IRKHSS Society, whereby I hope that it will be continued further later in terms of how can we gauge our engagement with the Gombak community to spread positive values, of course. Next, IPCC. I believe this is one of the most looked upon council in IRKHSSS, and I can barely say one of the best media team in IUM, whereby if you can see how the IPCC team does not only cater for information to disseminate info, but they also cater in giving the right values and ethos of the kuliah itself. I will explain more about that later. So they will be conveying any up-to-date academic matters as well as co-curricular matters, and they are the one that is maintaining and managing the social media of IRKHS Student Society. They also are the licensed body with all secretariat of IUM. Hence, this is something that is very important to have a good information publication and corporate communication council in IRKHSSS to make sure that all information from the kuliah IUMSU is reached to 4,500 students. How can we do so? Is by a good engagement with all secretariats in IRKHS. Next is their projects and initiatives, whereby they had done a lot of engagement in our social media. We also now have IRKHSSS website, which is already launched, Alhamdulillah. And we also have Share the Wisdom project, whereby we collaborated with all secretariats to share to the general public on what is the beauty of all and each of the department in AHAS KIRKHS. Hence, we could see that we collaborated with Allah, for example, to share translating culture elements in terms of Arabic language and how it is important in reflecting the ontology, because people say that Professor Syed Nakib Alatas always mentioned that language reflects ontology. What is ontology? It is how we see the society. So language is what we see the society as it is. If a language is something that is used to spread Islamization and to spread the knowledge of Islam, then it will reflect the society itself in how and what are the condition of the society by the translation of each language itself. Next is on IRKHSS Beraya. We have done the short movie, Memaknakan Merdeka, to show the students the spirit of independence. We also have KRKHS 1010, one of the biggest collaboration to show the general public that we have a lot of department. We have a lot of department, and each of them have their own niche that should be appreciated. And we have a lot of different kind of engagement with all of the secretariats to make this possible. And Alhamdulillah, we managed to launch our booklet during the Ta'aruf week for semester 121-22. Is it 20? Maybe, inshallah. Next is Student Affairs and Welfare Council. We had touched on student affairs and welfare related issues, as well as on our international students issues. What did we do? We had done a lot of assistance project whereby we had given a lot of food distribution aid, as well as we also distributed dry pet food, as well as hygiene kit. We given out sanitary pad as well last time. Alhamdulillah, we know the condition of the topic that is on the rise right now, which is on period poverty, where we take it seriously and we have taken a measure to assist our sisters on campus with giving out dry pet food as well as the sanitary pads. We also have peer psychosocial support, collaboration with Sejahtera, Impact, and TSU. This is another project that I think is a game changer, because usually if a society would like to touch on mental health issues, what will they do? I know you have the answer, is to have webinar. So webinar on mental health, to have a sharing session only. Hence, this is a kind of intervention um, that is impactful for the students, whereby we do this kind of intervention in terms of we will assist the students so that if they do not have anyone to talk to, they will talk to our volunteers from the Department of Psychology, which are trained by our professors in the department. So I hope that even this intervention could help our students. Number 6, website for international matters. We take care and we believe that our international students needs to be assisted just like everyone. We don't see local or international. We see everyone as a community of AHAS KRKHS. Next is on Instagram weekly postings. Another initiative is on IRKHSSS Use Stress to spread mental health advocacy, as well as our intercultural trivia, diversity and society. We have also disseminated welfare information, and also we have done virtual culture week, which is called Unity in Diversity campaign, where we had a long campaign in terms of cultural dialogue as well as inter-civilization webinar. It is very amazing and astonishing to hear the culture of our friends that came to RUM, go by the plane and to travel, to do hijrah to RUM to study and gain knowledge. For example, you can see in the green poster there, Brother Paul is the only Lithuanian in RUM. Where is Lithuania? It is in Europe. So you can go to our social media to look back at the highlights or the replay of our cultural dialogue. Now is Academic and Intellectual Council, IRKHSSS Student Society. We have a mission to assist the students academically as well as intellectually. We have done a lot of programs in terms of intellectual, and we assist academic matters, because this is what people would see on what would people sort upon. For example, in academic and curriculum initiatives, we have done comprehensive guideline for online manual pre-registration, which is something that people would see, would feel that it is something small, but it's something that is helping the students. You have a website or a guideline that everything that you need to know on online manual registration, you can get it there. We've also done comprehensive list of UNGAS and MPU sections, announcement of students feedback survey, Q&A regarding academic matters. We also have IRKHSSS Academic Help Desk, which is a help desk that you can send any kind of inquiries to the academic and intellectual chairperson, which will be directed and also will be assisted to the relevant individuals or centers or office. 6 is AHAS KIRKHS Employability Framework Project. It is something that we, Alhamdulillah, collaborated with CCSC. It is upcoming, still not done yet. So looking forward for AHAS KIRKHS Employability Framework Project. And in terms of intellectual, we would like to make intellectual activism great again in our kuliah, in terms of how we see the students, they don't have to gain knowledge only in classroom, but also outside of classroom. And we did future studies workshop with the assistant professor, Dr. Abdul Wahid Jalal Nouri, to explain to students on the concept of future studies. How can we prepare for the future, looking at the current scenario or looking at the relevant situation in the current world, how can we gauge the future of our society in the future? So this is what basically the introduction of future studies. Next, we also did forum on IUM student union election to improve the I would say political literacy. This is what we are doing currently as well. Political literacy among the students of AHAS KirkHS. We did Sidang Suara Merdeka, collaboration with IPCC in terms of our Twitter space to celebrate our Independence Day. And the biggest section, the biggest, I would say, symposium that we had done is with Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Kamal Hassan, the third rector of IUM, as well as the founding dean of our kuliah, whereby we did a symposium on bridging the discipline of Islamic knowledge and human sciences. There, we learn on the ethos or the reason being of the establishment of AHAS KirkHS from Center of Fundamental Knowledge to KirkHS, and now it's called AHAS KirkHS. Now we know the reason that it was established, to integrate the knowledge of human sciences, social sciences, as well as Islamic knowledge. Okay, going to Council of Chairperson, we have Council of Chairperson here. You can see Ala, Brother Adli, Sister Sharifah from Kosa, Fidaus from Illich, Harith from Hisforium, Sister Iman Christina from Posa, Afi from Isra, Farhana from Sakstar, and Sister Fatania from Sukasa. These are all of your student representatives from your department, and all of these seats will be contested after this. From before, it was contested in Shura only. They will be meeting in between the organization only, but now all of you students of AHAS KirkHS, you can vote on who do you think can lead your respective department. I am from the Department of Political Science. I would like to see a chairperson that will empower political activism on campus. There is an example. So for those that can fulfill my needs as a student of political science, I will vote for them. So if you think that you can up and you can take up the challenge, please do so and run for your respective department, including all three departments of IRK. If you are a student of Quran and Sunnah, run to be the chairperson of the Secretariat of Quran and Sunnah. So these are some of our kuliah level program, I would say, from IRKHSSS, our election to elect the main board of IRKHSSS, and now Council of Chairperson as well. So this democratic process in our kuliah is something that I love to see, because just a sharing for everyone that I ran for the first election. You guys can see the picture, the picture at the bottom left. It is during my manifesto debate for the first ever election of IRKHSSS. If there was no election, I don't think I will be here talking about you in the capacity as the president of IRKHSSS. Because before it was only Shura, and it is very limited if you want to be the student representative. Now, the field is getting bigger, the seat is increasing. You can be the main board of IRKHSSS. Even if you are a second year, you can be the chairperson of Secretariat of Sociology and Anthropology, even if you are in your second year. So please take up this challenge and run for the seats provided, because we have opened the way for you. This is something that you can contribute to your department and kuliah friends. So I don't see disadvantages in being a student representative in our kuliah. Next is on community engagement. We had a meeting with Ketua Kampung from Mukim Setapak to engage with them on social issues that can be solved and to enhance collaboration. Next is on transportation assistance. This is something that is ad hoc and something that people don't think as big, but for all of our friends that we have assisted, it is something that is big. To have taken Grab from TBS would be easily 40 ringgit. So this is something that we have assisted the students of our KirkHS. Next, welfare and academic assistance, KUSEF, intellectual activism, as I mentioned. assisting our international students. You can pause later, you can replay and pause if you want to read more. Now we have come to the main idea of being a student of AHAS KRKHS, a student representative. When you are a leader in your kuliah and your department, you will have a lot of people that you are accountable to, not only to your voters, which are the students, but as well as the stakeholders you can see in the screen. Number one, the Deanery of AHAS KRKHS, IRKHSSS advisor, or in the case of secretariat, it will be the advisor, the student activity advisor, and also you have academic advisor, you have your head of departments, which will be assisting your way in your department-based secretariats. We have 11 departments of AHAS KRKHS, we have council of chairpersons, 4,500 students of AHAS KRKHS. Just imagine you are only 7 members of IRKHSSS and you need to cater for 4,500 students. That is why you need the help of your councils, you need the help of your subcommittees. I am very grateful for the our committees of IRKHSSS. They have been very, very, very helpful. So get a good team and inshallah your society will prosper. Then IUMSU, the Gombak community, as mentioned before, we have a very good connection with all 7 villages in Mukim Setapak as well as IUM in terms of us being the student representative. We need to know what are the mission and vision of IUM, and we have to try to translate them in being a stakeholder of the kuliah and also the department. For the Deanery of AHAS KRKHS, as the main board of IRKHS Student Society, for now, me and Sister Dayini, we have been elected as the representative of the student of AHAS KRKHS in the Kuliah Sejahtera Committee, whereby it is a committee that is responsible in improving and enhancing the well-being or the sejahtera ambience of the kuliah community in terms of its students, in terms of its academics. Hence, the students, the vice president one, and also the president of IRKHSSS will be the member of Kuliah Sejahtera Committee, which is headed by Dr. Muhammad Noh bin Abdul Jalil, the Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement. You will be there with a lot of academic members that have their own ways in assisting or improving the well-being of the community of AHAS KRKHS. GSET is a part of an establishment from KSC itself, actually. So this is something that you can get the gist, whereby it is anything regarding the sejahtera environment of our kuliah. Next, Office of Deputy Dean, Student Development and Community Engagement, because this office is the one that is responsible for all student activities in our kuliah. So Dr. Muhammad Noh as the Deputy Dean, Brother Nur Iskandar as the Assistant Director at the office, Sister Adiba, they all are someone that you will be engaging a lot with. You have to consult with them on what are the necessaries and the necessities of your society, and they will be the one that will be assisting you as well in terms of what are the expectation of the kuliah. For example, they have set out a set of targets from the kuliah, which I believe is important for you to plan well in terms of the student activism or the student activities that you would like to do. Next, kuliah level programs, for example, Ta'aruf Week. Ta'aruf Week, we have a lot of kuliah level program, for example, kuliah briefing. So we are the one that will be engaging with the deanery and helping the new students as well as the department. But then, so this can be done as well. As the chairperson of each of your department, you will be assisting your department in Ta'aruf Week as well to welcome new students or the new intake of AHAS KRKHS. The next stakeholder, where I think is also important, this will be applicable for the president, the next president of IRKHS Student Society. Number one, you will be a member of IIUM COVID-19 Students Task Force IHSAN, whereby we have cases in COVID-19, and we also have the Students Task Force to cater and to assist the students of in IUM that are affected with COVID-19. Number two, IUM Student Parliament, you have to be the voice of 4,500 students of AHAS KRKHS. I have tried my best to represent all students of AHAS KRKHS in terms of to ensure the sanctity of the parliament itself, in our student parliament. And number three, Kuliah-Based Society Council. Kuliah-Based Society Council is a council that consists of all Kuliah-Based Society in IUM. So we are there to be the coordination body for all KBS in IUM. And another thing, I left out three, I forgot. We have three body or council under IUM Student Union. Number one, IUM Student Union Academic Council, IUM SUAC. The IUM SUAC is a council headed by the Education Office of IUM SU and represented by all chairperson of academic in each KBS. So if you are the chairperson of academic in IRKHSSS, you'll be a member of IUM SUAC. We also have IUM Student Union Welfare Council, which is where the members from IRKHSSS would be the chairperson of Welfare Council, where it is headed by Welfare Office of IUM Student Union. We have now IUM Student Union Da'wah Council, whereby it is headed by our Officer of Islamization and Student Development Office in IUMSU, which is now represented by our chairperson of Spiritual and Community Engagement. So we have three councils under IUM Student Union, and also Kuliah-Based Society Council, IUM Student Parliament, as well as IHSAN. Now, our advisor, they will be there to advise on societal matter, and they will be the one that will be endorsing all programs or society of or collaboration program of the society. Hence, I think, or in the context of the department-based secretariats, your advisor will be the one that will endorse your program before the deputy dean. So you will have to be in constant contact and in a good relationship with them. Like for us, our advisor is Dr. Zahid bin Zamri, and he is the one that we will seek upon advice other than our Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement, Dr. Muhammad Noor. Council of Chairpersons. So Council of Chairpersons, the most vital council in IRKHSSS, which is the consisting of all chairperson of secretariat. If you are the chairperson of psychology, you will be a member of Council of Chairperson, which is led by IRKHS Society President. And we have a lot of roles that we need to play as a Council of Chairperson. We have AHAS KIRKHS Academy, whereby if you are elected, you will sit down with IRKHSSS as well as all department secretariats to explain on your almanac for the whole tenure. So in the meeting, you will be explaining on what are your programs and also your budgets. Then we will compile, we will debate together, we will ask questions on the relevancy or the redundancy, as well as on the dates of the program. So we will compile, for example, so being in IRKHSS is not easy because we have now 10 departments. If one department have 10 100 times 10 is 1,000, right? So if there are 10 programs by 10 departments, it is already 100 programs in our kuliah. So just imagine we need to cater for 100 programs, and even the president of IRKHSSS, all programs will need to have an endorsement of IRKHSSS president as well. I think for this past 1 year, I have signed around 100 proposals, to read 100 proposals, because all of our secretaries are very active. We want to empower them to empower their specific niche, to empower politics, to empower sociology, to empower psychology. And also, this council is crucial in terms of its dissemination of information, in terms of how can we ensure that all of information have reached the students of AHAS KirkHS. We also have the operation room of IRKHSSS, which we have received, Alhamdulillah. So all society or all department have their own room now to have or to do their society matters. And we also have the ta'aruf which will be done together, and also AHAS KirkHS election, which we are currently having right now. So these are the role of Council of Chairperson. So this is something that you need to expect being a student representative in our kuliah. Next is the role of university students. So this is the ending, maybe the last part of my presentation, which is the role of university students. We have 3 roles as university students: intellectual, educational, and also social. Intellectual, educational, and social. In our proposal, in the objectives part, the office have informed us that we must include any of the role of a university or the function of the university. So for example, the objective of AHAS KirkHS is to enhance integration between all students of AHAS KirkHS. Then it will go under the functions of social. So we make it a social function of the programs. So we have to empower, and all programs that we do must be based on all of these functions, which have been expounded many times by our Dean as well as our Deputy Dean, Dr. No, on ISE, Intellectual, Social, and Educational Role. So these are the social media of IRKHS Student Society. Why do we have so many social media? Is that because we want to be close to the students. For example, if you do not have Twitter, we are on Facebook. If you are not on Facebook, we are on Instagram. If you do not have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, we have LinkedIn. Then also we have our YouTube channel as well. We have our Telegram channel, which is, I would say, the main driver for the society to share all of the program done by AHAS KirkHS Society. So that's why, if you can see, it's not only IRKHSS program, but it's IRKHSSS, kuliah level programs such as spiritual enhancement, as well as all department program, such as we had psychology day yesterday. So we also posted it in our Telegram channel. Alhamdulillah, we are also the first society in IIUM to have our own IIUM domain, club.iium.edu.my/IRKHSSS. Big stepping stone as well for our society to have our own website with IIUM domain. We also now, I would like to announce that we also have our own Zoom account. We have 2 licenses, a premium account with 300 participants limit, which is a student society Zoom account. We had the kuliah Zoom account. Now we have a Zoom account dedicated for AHAS KirkHS Society. Alhamdulillah, the next tenure would be very, very lucky because they have their own Zoom account. We rented Zoom account for 1 year because we tried to request, we send proposal, we engage with the office to have our own Zoom account. Now we already have. We don't need to rent it anymore, and we can also assist all secretariats to have their programs using the Zoom account, Alhamdulillah. Now we have come to the end of our event today. No, not the event. My event, my presentation. So this was the overview of the context or the nature of our kuliah, because I think it is very important because when I ran for IRKHSSS Student Society in 2020, I didn't even know what is IRKHSSS. So I hope that with this short explanation and also the explanation by my friends after this, Sister Dayini, Sister Nazifah, and also Brother Aliff, all of you can get to know um, the essence of the student society and what can you expect in becoming a student representative in our kuliah. Now that would be all from me. I would like to thank everyone for listening. We will go to our next speaker, which will be talking on Insan Sejahtera, and also what was the topic, but it will be on her experience, her vast experience. She was in POSA before, the director of Political Insight. Now, before this, she was also the co-chairperson of Academic and Intellectual IRKHSSS, and also the Vice President 1 of IRKHSSS 2021. She has been very active in student activism. She was also the president of FOCUS, the Human Sciences Society in CFS. Hence, I believe that you will learn a lot from Sister Dayini Shaik after this. We'll be talking on her experiences and what are the traits and values that you need to have as a student representative in AHAS KIRKHS. So without further ado, thank you very much again. I will pass the floor to Sister Dayini. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Brother Anas Hayyan, for a very insightful sharing session just now on the overview of IRKHSSS. And welcome everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dayini Shaik, and I'll be sharing a very quick session on a key principle on the overview of organizational management in the society. So welcome to the second session, Insan Sejahtera, Leader in You. So before we begin, is the slide ready?
Oh, you want me to share the PDF, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Sorry, miscommunication. So it's okay. So before we begin, I would like to start my session first by saying that a leader is not born, a leader is made. So if you guys think that you guys did not have what it takes now to step up and join the election this semester, it's okay. Take your time. I suggest you guys to try to gain your experience first at the lower level, at your department level, and then try to step up on the kuliah level. It's a journey. Leadership is a journey. It's an experience for you to gain and to enhance and to improve. It's a forever journey for you guys to learn, and it is a never-ending experience. So I suggest that if you guys are a freshman year, I suggest you guys to take the department level as a committee member first. Try to gain experience in a smaller community. Focus on the goals that you guys want to achieve in that semester first. And then once you guys have achieved that and learn how to work together in that organization, you guys may use it to a larger community such as IRKHSSS. But if you guys feel very confident with yourself and you guys want to take the risk, take a leap of faith, go for it, okay? Take the chance. Life is all about taking chances, okay? So before we begin, as I said that the leader in you is not born, it is made. I personally myself is still learning. So I take that as an experience for me from my CFS foundation years, being a president, and then I also act as a student coordination council, one of the president in the SCC. I still learning until now to be a part of the organization. And even in degree life, the administration level is way different than the foundation years. So I'm still learning. So I suggest you guys to take a very attentive ears to what the key principle that I'll be sharing next. So there are 6 key principles in the organizational management that a student leader should attain. So the first one is create a bond. So a student leader or a good team members must take time to find how your team members are feeling. So a good leaders must show that the team members that they are heard and appreciated. Why? Because study shows that members that are emotionally happy working together will turn out to be more productive and efficient in working together. Why? This is because they feel responsible, or they feel like they are socially belong to the society, that they feel that they owe something successful to the society, and they found satisfaction to contribute something. How do we create a bond? So this is a pretty overrated things that most society often overlook, which is to set up a team building activities. So during our tenure, 2021, Anas, me, and other members, we decided to do a tri-semester IRKHSSS copy section, whereby around 2 to 3 months once, we will be having a bonding session, which is an interactive game playing in the morning on one day in the weekend, to have like a bonding session with another council. All of the council will be getting together and will be having a fun game session around 2 to 3 games. And then right afterwards, we'll be having a update on each council on the project that they have been doing, and also for the upcoming project. So this way, all of the members feel like they belong to the society, which is AHAS KIRKHS, and they feel like, oh, this is my family. So I feel like I belong to this and I have to contribute to this. So this way, it psychologically benefits not only to the people, but also to us as a member, to feel like we are close, even though we are not really working together all the time. So it is a good thing that we create a bond before we start working. Okay. So next, you must set a clear direction for your team. Define and clarify your society goals, roles, and also expectations. Sit down with your team members. In this case, sit down with all of the IRKHS members and decide what do you want to do, when, and how will we be doing it. For example, before our tenure semester began, Anas has set up a meeting with all of the members. Right after we have a taruh session, a bonding session, we sit and discuss on the direction that we want to achieve throughout our tenure. What do we want to achieve as a team in a short-term goals and long-term goals? Where do we see ourselves in the end of the tenure? What do we want to achieve? So when we discuss and we sit down, we already set up the project timeline. What are the projects that we want to organize? When is it? How do we achieve it? How many members do we want in each of program in it? So this way, your other members can see vividly what are the expectations that the leader wants to achieve, and therefore they are able to help more clearly. Okay. So next, the third principle is that you must delegate tasks properly. Next slide, please. You must delegate tasks properly. So you must assign the task to the right people according to their best skills. A good student leader knows their members' flaws and also skills, professional skills. So a good leader must know how to delegate properly according to their best capacity. So it is best to include them in the delegation process so that the members themselves can choose which are the skills that they think they can contribute best. Why? This is to ensure that everyone's capacity and ability is used to their very best, to keep them motivated and satisfied during the work process. So even though the work can be very stressful, the person that has chosen the task will feel like it's okay because this is what I do best. So I know my capabilities and I know I can get it done. So even though it is stressful, they can still manage it well. Unlike the person that is forcefully assigned to that task, that has no skills at all on that specific area, so they feel like they did not enjoy working together and they did not enjoy doing the work. So it could cause inefficient results of the project. So that is why it is important for a leader to delegate tasks properly to its member. So next, right after you already assign your team members according to their tasks and skills, a good leader also establish a follow-up meeting on the spot. So right after you already assign one person on the task, you must quickly inform them when is the next follow-up meeting that you want to know the update of that project. So a good leader like Anas, during our tenure, he already assigned us with a specific roles, each one of us, even in the main boards. For example, me as the Vice President 1 of IRKHSSS, I am in charge of the external affairs of our society. So I am in charge with communicating with other societies outside of IRKHSSS, like discussing with councils of chairperson and also collaboration partners such as PMFSSSK, UKM, and also others. So Brother Fakudin, as the Vice President 2 of IRKHSSS, is in charge of the internal affairs in IRKHS. So he is in charge on managing the board of directors, the bureau councils, and also etc. So when Anas has already assigned a specific task among us, we know when and what to focus on. So the scope of job become more specific and easier. So I suggest you guys to set a clear chain of command as well. So not only among the main boards, but also with the lower chain of command. So for example, in IRKHSSS, like previously, Brother Anas has mentioned, from a 7 council, we have already reformed the structure of organization in IRKHSSS this tenure from 7 council to 4 crucial council that we think is the most important and applicable during COVID RTL session, which is ACE, IPCC, Science and Stockwell. And we set a clear chain of command whereby we will only be limiting 8 members per council, and each council have their own specific chairpersons, which is the head bureau in a more general term, which is they have their own head bureau and assistant bureau. So the upper level of that, we also have a person in charge, which is the main boards that will be supervising and also become the managers in a way that will be communicating with the board of director, which is the head bureau and assistant bureau. So the clear chain of command will not cross, and also it confirms the continuity of the chain so that it won't overlap and there will be no confusion or anything. So what's the rationale of having a person in charge after they have a board of director, a council of chairperson? This is because Anas feel like it is important for each council of chairperson to refer to their own supervisor, which is the main board, that will be assigned to 2 specific council, so that it will be easier for us to manage, so that not everyone is focusing on all 4 of council, so that one person is focused on 2 only, so that when one person is unavailable, the other team members can refer to the other 2 supervisors if they have the agency or if there is an important decision making that they have to ask and confirm. So that's the rationality of having multiple supervisors, person in charge in one council. So next, once you already delegate tasks properly, you must sit among members, and next slide please. You must sit among members and be transparent. Communicate with each other among members about your schedule differences. So once you guys have already discussed on your schedule differences among members, you must respect and tolerate each other's. So in IRKHSSS, since everyone is a successful, a very committed and passionate student leaders, most of us are committed to not only one society, but also to other society. So therefore, the clashes of schedule is inevitable. So it is bound to happen. So what do? We sit and discuss and communicate among ourselves about our schedule differences. We share about our timetable, study timetable, to find a suitable time for everyone to have a consecutive meeting. Let's say we want to have a weekly meeting. We will be referring to the Google Calendar to see what time is everybody is free to have that meeting. So that it'll be easier for people to have an ad hoc meeting. They can just refer to the time where they see that everyone is free. So this is important in organization because as I said just now, there will be an overlapping commitment, but all the members must be respectful and tolerant with each other. So let's say if one person are unavailable at the moment, they must inform the other members beforehand so that other people can help to assist or cover or replace them. So in this society, in my team, especially in our tenure, I am very grateful to have a very cooperative colleague, a very understanding colleague that will help one another to cover each other. So when another person is not available, other person will help to assist to attend another meeting. So this is one of the key importance in the organization that most people often overlook. Okay, next slide, please. So the second last key principle in organization is that you guys must be present. So people speak because they feel like they have something to say. They have to say something, sorry. So people speak because they feel like they have to say something. But a leader speaks because they have something to say. If you guys get the difference. Okay. So what I suggest you guys, one of the key principles in being a good student representative or a good student leader is that you guys must be alert with meetings and think of what is the agenda or the essence or the foundation of that meeting before you guys join the meeting. So in a way, you guys must prepare beforehand. You guys must understand what is the purpose of that meeting so that you guys should prepare to understand what are the cause of the meeting so that you guys may propose some suggestion or may propose some argument or raise some issues that fits the discussion. So when you guys are in the meeting, usually as a student leader, you guys will be meeting with your colleague of student representative, you guys will be meeting with the administrators, you guys will be meeting with the lecturers, not a ordinary people. These are the people that will has the power to make changes. So you guys should use the opportunity to use this platform of the meeting to raise the concern of your fellow friends, fellow students. So for example, every feedback matters. Take note from your peers, friend, ask for your lecturer's point of view of the class, and raise it to the administrator. In this case, the administrator is often the person that you guys will see almost every week is the deanery of student development and community engagement. So Dr. Nu has been very, very attentive, very communicative with the student, and is very empathetic. Is very concerned about the student and what are the issues that we want to raise. So use this platform to be present, say something, but not every single time that you should say something. Only say something when it really matters. That's how a leader works, okay? So the last but not least key principle of management, next slide please, Aliff, is keep the students updated. So this is one of the most underrated key principle in organizational management that people often overlook at. So once we were elected as the student representative, we should remember that we are elected by the students. So the students has the rights to know every single thing that we do. And not only at the end of the tenure, they should know throughout the whole progress. They should be keep updated all the time so that they know that we are available and we are working, so that they know that we are present for them to reach out to. So we must share the outcome of every initiative done by the society to inform them and help them understand that the society is well functioning and is reliable and available at all times for them to reach out to. So for example, during our tenure, 2021, IRKHSSS has been updating our 100 days of service since we got elected on social media, and we constantly update our social media with our upcoming projects, our current projects, and etc. So I think that the last key principle is important in a student society to keep the students updated, to keep students feel like they were included in the society because they are. So because we were elected by them, so we must give back to them. And by giving back, not only the projects, but also to keep them updated all the time, because they are one of our largest stakeholders. So I feel like this is one of the things that the next tenure should take priority as well, and learn from the IPCC this semester to keep the students always updated and feel inclusive. So I feel like that's the end of my sharing. I hope that you guys take note of the 6 key principles of the organizational management. Thank you. I pass back to Brother Anas.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Dayini. I think the presentation had covered on a lot of things, or the trait or the values that as a student representative, you must have all of those values. And especially, I think Sister Dayini has perfectly explained on the human resource management in the society itself, in terms of how can you cater for your students, in for not only for the students but also for your members of your society. So ensure that you update everything, you take their opinions, you engage with them well in terms of not only on society matters, but maybe on other matters that are more leisure. Um, After this, we will listen from Sister Nazifah Ibrahim, our Secretary 2 of IRKHSSS 2021, where she will be explaining on Secretary's standards duties. She is someone that can talk about this topic and has the uh, fits for the topic because she's our secretary, and she is also the one that have been assisting in terms of the technicalities of our files, our virtual files in our Google Drive, as well as on the proposals of IRKHSSS. Do we have Sister Nazifah ready? So we will wait for a while so that we can resolve any technicalities before we will pass to Sister Nazifah. After Sister Nazifah, we will listen from Brother Aliff. He is already enthusiastic to explain. Brother Aliff, how are you?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Brother Anas, for asking. I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. I think we will wait for a bit for Sister Nazifah. Sister Nazifah, is everything okay? Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
All right. So, can I start now?
Okay, now we will pass the floor to Sister Nazifah. Thank you.
All right. I will share the screen first. All right. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
All right. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nazifah Ibrahim, the caretaker of IRKHSSS Student Society 2021, and I am also the Secretary 2 of IRKHSSS Student Society 2021. So inshallah, this evening I will be sharing about the information in details regarding the Secretary's duties, especially in IRKHSSS Student Society, and also in generally in any other AHAS KIRKHS student societies. As we all know that being a secretary secretaries is a very important position in an organization because secretaries is the one that are responsible to keep all the data, all the documents that related to an organization. So people always been told that being a secretary is a time consuming, but I would like to highlight that secretary needs to pay a very detailed attention to all everything that related to the organization, because after all everything will be referred to the secretaries itself. So I will start with the all right, so for these slots I will start with the SOP for student program. I will explain about what to prepare if you want to conduct a program, what documents should be sent, to whom you should send the proposals, and documents that what are the documents that should be sent together with the proposal. And then the second one, I will explain the details about the proposal and program proposal form, PPF. So these are the documents that will be submitted together with the that should be submitted to the kuliah to conduct a program. And then I will explain about the official invitation letter. This one I will explain a little bit on how to make the invitation letter to the moderator, to the speakers that you would like to invite later. And then I will explain about the program report. Last but not least, I will explain about the minute meeting. So I will start first with the SOP for student program. All right, so this is the procedure for KIRKHSS programs. Actually, these forms, all forms that related to your programs, such as a proposal, program proposal report, program proposal form, can be accessed from the KIRKHSS website. So this is the link of the KIRKHSS website. You can get all the proposals, all the documents related to your program. All right, so this is the detailed proposal that should be written in the proposal. The first one is the introduction. The introduction could be a short summary of the proposal. I will explain in details and I will show you the templates of the proposal after this. Next, we need to write the objective. The objective should highlight the functions of the university. For example, here to cater the welfare of the students, so you need to write the function of the university, which is the social roles. And then process, mechanism, implementation plan should be detailed out in the proposal. The work target should be highlighted as well if you want to apply the work target. And then if the proposal is prepared for a festival which consists of many programs, each program should have its process, mechanism, and implementation plan. All right, so next, if there is a need for budget allocation, the amount should be reasonable. You need to write the budget for the proposal. And then if the program expected to have moderator, speaker, you need to attach the details of the moderator, speaker, and so forth, such as photo, experience, position, academic qualification, and so forth. And then it's highly encouraged to reward wakaf time to IIUM staff, students who are invited as moderator and speaker. So this wakaf time actually a system for those IIUM students or staff that are invited to be the speaker or moderator. So you don't need to allocate the budget for them, but instead we prepare or we provide the wakaf time in which we will also give the e-certificate is also to be rewarded to the speakers and moderator. And then the section for wakaf time should be detailed out. Okay. All right, should be detailed out in the proposal if applicable. So in the template of the proposals that IRKHSS Student Society has already prepared to you, there is also the wakaf time section to be included in the proposal. All right. So number 4, complete item number 1 until 13 in the related program proposal form. So this one, the PPF, you can also download from the IRKHSS website, and I will also show you the PPF after this. And then for joint collaboration program, signature of the organizers is required in the JPF. and the details of the non-IIUM co-organizer collaborator should be attached with the form. And then we need to email the proposal, the PPF and JPF if applicable, to the advisor for his or her recommendation. We need to advise the advisor to complete item number 14. The item number 14 is the space for the signature of the advisor. And then all proposals, papers and completed forms must be submitted to Brother Nur Iskandar Mazlan. He is the assistant of the Office of Deputy Dean and Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement. And the email should be copied to the Deputy Dean, SDD STCE, which is to Dr. Noh. All right, so next, development and community engagement according to the duration stipulated, which is this is the duration that should be taken into account when you submit the proposal. For the university or club level program, you should submit not less than 21 days before the date of the program. And then for national level, you should submit the proposal not less than 3 months before the date of the program. And then for international level, not less than 6 months before the date of the program. And programs that require sponsorship, regardless of level, not less than 3 months before the date of program. And the invitation letter, not less than 9 days before the date of the program. Okay. So number 8, the Deputy Dean, Student Development and Community Engagement will recommend or not recommend the program based on the proposal that you have submitted to the kuliah lah. And then number 9, the Dean will approve or disapprove the program. Okay, Office of DDD STCA, Dr. Noh or Brother Iskandar will notify the secretaries on the decision via email and other mediums. So students, the secretaries may follow up with the DDSTCE for updates on the approval of the proposal. So next. All right, am I too fast? Let me know if I'm talking too fast, okay? All right, so next, the program should be conducted using English or Arabic language, and other languages could be considered based on strong justification. Next, students are not allowed to send any letter unless the program has been approved. So the letterhead is used for the first page of the letter only. The letterhead also after this, I will show you the examples of the letterhead. And then the program secretary or manager will complete and email the program report form, PRF, with its attachment to Sister Sharifah Adibah within 2 weeks after the program. So this is for the program report, meaning after the event has ended, you need to submit the program report form to Sister Adibah 2 weeks after the program, and late submission might lead to no sub points. Basically, for this PRF, you need to submit them because we want to request the sub point. All right, next, if the program has budget utilization. All right, so this one, the treasurer, for those who are watching right now that you might want to be a treasurer of IRKHSSS Student Society, you need to pay attention on this because the program treasurer need to complete the reimbursement form and financial report form if the program has budget utilization. So you need to email the form and other attachment to also Sister Adibah within 2 weeks after the program. All right, so these are the details about the financial report in which are all original receipts must be pasted neatly on A4 size paper, and then plain receipts must be stamped by the company or the shop. Expenditure without receipt must be justified in a letter with details of purchase. And last but not least, if double receipts are obtained, please paste either one, and items of expenditure must be tallied with the items approved on the working paper proposal. So the next treasurer of IRKHSSS Student Society need to pay attention on this SOP, and then reimbursement will be processed upon the submission of the program report form, and no reimbursement will be entertained more than 3 months from the last date of the program. So you need to consider the due date as well for the financial report. Okay, so this is the soliciting sponsorship for for those who are planning to seek for sponsorship. The name of the YB or Minister of Education, the office of the Minister of Education, or the name of the officer who approved the program should not be included in the donation drive that has been hereby approved, either directly or indirectly. So students are not allowed to seek for donations or sponsorships from any ministers, deputy ministers, parliamentary secretary, and members of parliament. The sponsorship committee shall be students of the university only, and the university approval must be sought for involvement of participants from outside the university. And then sponsorship drive can only be done during the specific dates as mentioned in the approval letter, and students are not allowed to seek for sponsorship before receiving a letter of approval to run the sponsorship drive from the approving authority. So these are the steps for seeking the sponsorship. The first one, you need to submit the details of sponsors, the company name, the address, contact person, and so forth to the officer in charge. And then all letters to be sponsors must be sent to the approving authorities, and all letters must be written in English. All right. So all checks from sponsors must be made payable to the IIUM operating account only, meaning every single transaction for the sponsorship must go through the IIUM account only. And all cash received must be submitted to the approving authority to enable the issuance of receipt to the sponsors for the purpose of tax deductions. And all claims of cash from sponsors must be made by the treasurer of the program. Okay, next. All right, so these are the types of sponsorship. We have main sponsorship, co-sponsorship, media partner, platinum sponsor, gold sponsor, and etc. And how to get the sponsor? First of all, you need to produce a creative and eye-catching sponsorship proposal document, which consists of cover page, executive summary of program, details of the program such as the name, dates, organizers, and so forth. And then the benefits for the sponsor, the tentative program, brief notes about the sub-program, financial section, contact number of the person in charge. All documents, correspondence letters must be checked by the relevant authorities. So this sponsorship proposal document is the one that you will submit to the sponsors of your program. And then you need to identify potential sponsors, at least 10 companies, and the ratio to get the sponsor is 1:10. Because it's not that easy for me to say to get the sponsors from the organizations. And then you need to set appointment, you need to present the proposal, and of course you need to follow up after the presentation. Okay, so this is the last one, the last SOP, which is to regarding the steps to reimburse sponsorship checks or cash from finance division. All right, so sorry. All right, the first one is you need to fill up the payment request form. You need to request for advancement form and attach with the supporting document such as the approval letter and the financial report. And then if the program has not been organized, the application must be accompanied with a list of expected expenditure as stated in the original proposal. And if the program has been organized, an application must be accompanied with a receipt and bills. So reimbursement will be made according to the amount of expenditure. This one also I need to get the attention from the next treasurer of IRKHSSS, because the treasurer will be the one that will be the one that prepare these documents needed. Okay, so moving on, this is about the proposal and program proposal form. I think I would like to share the documents itself, but all right. Can you see this well? All right, okay. So this is the template of the proposals that you will use for conducting the program. This is the cover page. The cover page should consist the title of the program, the date, the venue, the organizers, and then in the proposals we need to include the introduction about the program, and then the objective. The objective, as I mentioned before, you need to state the role, the university role in a bracket of each objective, such as to cater the students' welfare. You need to include the social roles, for example, and then the name of the program, background of the program, organizer, proposed date and venue, and then. All right, so this is the space or the section for targeted participants, the proposed speaker and moderator. This one you need to include the appendix A for you to include the details of the moderator, the speaker, and then the organizing committees. This is the organizing committees that will involve in the program, and then we have program schedule. Basically, for the program schedule, we will include the tentative of the program, and then financial estimation. Financial estimation, you need to state where your income is coming from. If it is from your sponsorship, you need to state. If it is from the kuliah allocation budget, you need to state in the estimated income, and then the estimated expenses as well in the section in this financial estimation section. And then, okay, this is the walk-off time that I mentioned before, which is the walk-off time is a system for IIUM community to get involved with the program, whether they become the speaker or moderator. So this system, we will include the name of the speaker, panelist, moderator. We will also state the metric number, then amount of walk-off time for us to key in the system, so that we will get the e-certificate. And then last but not least, the conclusion of the program. And of course, the signatures that are needed for the proposal. All right, so I think for the invitation letter, I need to show you the document. Sorry. Wait a minute. All right, so all right, can you see this? I really hope that you can see my screen. All right, so this is the invitation.
Sister Nazifah.
Sorry, yeah.
We can only see your previous presentation, the term invitation letter, not the document.
You cannot see yet?
Yes, I cannot see yet the document.
All right. For a second, I need to fix my technical problem. All right, I need to stop share first. Can you see now?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Brother Aliff. All right, so this is the invitation letter for if you want to invite the speakers, the moderator, and the invited guests. So you need, sorry. Okay, so this is the space for you to write the, I think this is called as series number, number 1. So if this is the first invitation letter that you want to send to the speaker or moderator, you need to write number 1 here and onwards, and then okay, so this is for the dates. And you need to include as well the tentative of the program for the invitation letter, so that your invited guest, your speaker, your moderator can refer to the tentative of the program. And then I would like to share with you the program proposal form. All right. So this is the program proposal form that you can access from the IRKHSSS website, the Kuliah website, and the details of the PPF should be filled in the PPF. So you need to write the name of the program, the organizers, the venue, the expected number of participation, and then you need to tick on the types of the program, the kuliah that in charge of the program, societies that are also involved in this program, the type of the the type of activity, either it is a participation activity or the competition, and then the level of activity, the variation of activity. If AGM, for example, we need to take on the attending ceremony, and you need to pay attention on what activities that you would like to conduct. And then the SDG goals, we have 15 goals here. You need to tick in the goals that are relevant to your program, as well as the maqasid syariah. We have 5 maqasid syariah and the mission of IIUM. Alright, so number 11, you need to fill in the student in charge of the program manager, the secretary, the treasurer, and the president of the society. Okay, so this is the section for financial requirement, in which you need to fill up the budget allocation, the budget utilization that for the program. So you need to fill in this section. And then this is the number 14 that I mentioned in the SOP previously. This is for advisor. So advisor need to fill this section for the recommendation and approval of the PPF. All right. So this is the PPF that you need to submit together with the proposal to the kuliah. And okay, and yeah, this later I will show you the examples of the PPF that we have throughout this tenure. Okay, next I would like to share to you. Okay. All right, so next I would like to share to you the program report form template. So the program report form is actually the report that you need to submit together with, not to submit together, you need to submit after the program has ended. So can you see?
Not yet. Not yet, Nazifah.
Wait a minute. I don't know why it doesn't appear on my screen. Okay, can you see?
Can.
All right, thank you, Anas. All right, so this is the program report form that you will need to submit to the kuliah 2 weeks after the program and the program ends. All right. So this is the details that you need to fill in the program report: the name of the program, the organizers, the dates, the number of participants, the budget, the collaboration if we collaborate with other societies, and then same goes to the PPF just now. We need to tick the SDG goals that are related to the program. And then the Maqasid Syariah, the mission of IIUM, then and achievement that you could see from the program, and the shortcomings and the conclusion. So after this as well, I will show you the examples of the program report form so that you will get a better insight on how to prepare the program report form. All right, so this one you need to attach 3 pieces of pictures of the program as the proof that you conducted the program, and then the program schedule, the organizing committees, the name, the metric number, and so forth, and then the list of participants. So this is why we need to get the attendance, meaning every time we have the program, we need to make sure that the participants fill in the attendance form so that we can put in the report and they can get the star points. And then the program book or magazine that if we have, if any, and approval letter of the program, we need to include as well in the program report form. So this is for the list of the participants and also the committees that involved in the program, in the activities that has been conducted. So next. Okay, next I will share you all right, this is the very last one, the minute meeting. Okay, I really hope that you can see this. Okay, so this is the minute meeting, the template of the minute meeting for IRKHSSS Student Society. Basically, as usual, you need to fill the number series here, and then the date and the day in the details, and then the number of the minutes, the first minute, the second minute, and onwards, and then the details of the meeting, the title, the date and the day, the time, the venue, and also the attendance. Right here, for example, we need to write the attendance of president, VP1, VP2, and to treasurer 2. Okay, so this is for the section for the minute meeting. We need to include the first one. We need to include the introduction, and then we need to include the objective of this meeting. We have, for example, if we have 3 agenda of the meeting during that time, you need to include here in the minutes, and then you need to include as well. The secretaries need to write in details about the agenda that has been discussed. And then I have sorry. You cannot see my document, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so this is the description of the meeting. The secretaries need to write the descriptions of every objective in the meeting. And last but not least, of course, the section for the signatures. For this one, you need to, for me lah, I need to go to my president first before I pass to the attendees of the meeting. Okay, so I would say that the minute meeting is really, really, really important in every organization, not IRKHSS only, but in every organization, because everything related the history of the meeting, such as what have been discussed, the plans that you are going to conduct, the programs that you will like to initiate, can only be recalled if you if the secretaries of an organization write the minute meeting properly and accurately. So I think that's all for my part. I really hope that I cover all aspects of the duties of being secretaries. And if you have any questions, for those who are maybe if the next secretaries of IRKHSS Student Society would like to would like to ask anything related to the duties of being a secretary in IRKHSS, or maybe secretaries in any AHAS KIRKHSS Student Societies, you can always contact me or the Secretary General of IRKHSSS 2021, Sister Amni Lutfi, because I know from my experience, I know it is not easy for us actually to prepare the documents of an organization because it is so many. And I really hope that the one that will be selected as the secretary of IRKHSS Student Society later can benefit from the documents that actually we have prepared and we have uploaded in the Google Drive of IRKHSSS. Inshallah, you will get the link after any of you were elected as the member of the IRKHSS Student Society. And from my side, I am really sorry because there's so much technical difficulties from my side. I really hope that at least you can still get the information or the details of the standard duties of being secretaries in IRKHSSS. So I think that's all from me. I will pass to Brother Anas, I guess. Okay, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Sister Nazifah, for the comprehensive, I would say a comprehensive review on what can you expect in being a secretary at IRKHSSS, as well as the department-based secretariat. And I know that being a secretary is not easy because we have so many documents that we need to refer, the SOP, as well as on the matters of bureaucracy that are a lot because we are under a system of the kuliah. So, and I would like to thank Sister Amir and also Sister Nazifah for being a very excellent secretary for IRKHSSS, Alhamdulillah. And now we will move on to our last session, which is from Brother Aliff Naif Muhammad Fizam, our Treasurer 2 of IRKHSS Student Society 2021, which will be explaining on student activism in terms of what is the role of a student society that needs to be played, especially in terms of its values and in terms of its values that you need to carry. Without further ado, I will pass the floor to
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aliff Naif bin Muhammad Fizam. I am the Treasurer 2 of IRKHSSS Student Society 2021. And inshallah, in this session today, I will be sharing on activism within organization. Because I think being a student leader is not just about being in a bureaucratic organization, just working for the kuliah, but you are a student leader, student representative. You're representing the student itself within a larger organization, and you have accountability and this accountability does not just come with tasks or responsibility, but also comes with the spread of ideas that needs to be done within the state organization. So as we say in IRKHSSS Student Society, of course, as treasurer, we have our own tasks. As secretary, as the presidential, all of us has our own tasks. But together as the main boards or as the student society as a whole, what we need to do is to spread the idea of activism, spread the idea of empowerment, spread the idea of education and also democracy within the kuliah-based society. And inshallah, today I will be sharing on 12 main values or main ideas on activism within organization. Okay, next. Okay, inshallah, these are the first 6, which is critical activism versus erring activism, unreflective activism, anti-intellectualism, methodological yet devoid of vision, misplaced priorities, ethical ambivalence, and textual yet uncontextual. So on the first part, one thing that we need to understand, in all progressive and dynamic societies, the youth as a social grouping has always been given prime attention. This is the case in our society in recent years. However, if we look closely, it is inevitable that we should ask how far and deep are our concerns towards this group. Perhaps we are satisfied by the fact that we have recognized their duties and roles in society. However, we should never be naive, since the rhetoric of recognition should never be equated with the actual reality. And the youth as a generational unit, as we call it, according to Karl Mannheim, a sociologist from German, a potential asset in every society. Youth is an important part of this latter reserve, which are present in our society. It depends on the social structure, whether those reserve and which of them, if any, are mobilized and integrated into a function. One thing that need to be understood is the experience of other societies also have demonstrated how the forces of youth or kuliah-based society, or in our context, IRKHSSS, have been mobilized in various ways to serve the vested interests of certain oligarchic powers, for certain nationalistic cause, or to render youth as a readily passive consumers in an ever-active market of neoliberal capitalism. And there is a great truth to the philosopher's layman, actually, that when a society neglects its youth, neglects the student bodies, neglect the student representative, it charts a doom of future. Conversely, when the youth thinking becomes asocial, ahistorical, amoral, or apolitical, the youth abdicates to fulfill its mission. The mission should never be tied up with employment or educational advancement, but an upliftment of consciousness to unfold the best in each of us. And this is all for the betterment of ourselves, for the society, for our kuliah-based society, and the world's humanity as a whole. And as eloquently reminded by a philosopher, if I may recall, named Erich Fromm, he mentioned that to be only interested in one's own problem is not the way of getting well or becoming a full human being. One cannot live in a strong and joyous and independent way if one's only interest is in oneself, in the context of an individualistic milieu and condition, where the fountain of success is only be seen to emerge from competitiveness, collective and mutual cooperation within the organization as both personal capacity, the president, the treasurer, the secretary, and also the social virtues need to regain their place in our plan for a better society. So for the first part, so what I meant by critical activism and erring activism within an organization within an organization is to understand what is crucial and is needed to differentiate the critical substantive activism against that is characterized by erring activism. A point made by Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire is the author of Pedagogy of the Oppressed. A point that is made by him is pertinent when he mentioned that we can't link practice with activism because verbalism lacks action, and activism, what we did, lacks critical reflection on the action. In other words, what we mentioned or what we call as erring activism takes place when there is an absence of critical reflection on practice in as much as it is ill-informed on theory and also alternative perspective. And we need also to be aware of what something called dilettantism in erring activism. By dilettantism, we mean that a mind which is methodological, organizational, the one that is quick to search for resolution, to search for solution, forming committees to execute plans, but without much time or thought given to think through their project and also proposals. This kind of mentality is quick fix to saving actions, not only may be counterproductive, but also give to the actors or student representative, let me call it, some false sense that they may have achieved something. But this critical thinking, according to Eric Fromm, is not a hobby, but a critical thinking is a faculty. It is an approach to the world. It is by no means critical in the sense of hostile or negativistic or nihilistic, but on the contrary, critical thought stands in the service of life, in the serving of removing obstacles to life individually and socially, which paralyze us. Critical activism and also forged by critical thinking and consciousness is one of the subject to naivety. And one thing, it is critical thinking that mitigates the path of errors for the man of possibilities. As mentioned, critical thinking is the only weapon and defense which man has against the dangers in life. If I myself do not think critically, then indeed I am a subject to all influence, to someone higher in authority compared to me, and to all of the suggestions, to all errors that I might not serve my actual responsibility as the treasurer too of IRKHSSS. And one thing is, one person, one cannot be free, one cannot have one center in oneself unless one is able to think critically and, if you like, cynically. And the second point is unreflective activism, and also we can term it as anti-intellectualism. The thing is, activism that is devoid or lack of intellectual component and insight is an action that cannot envision growth and improvement within an organization. In our enthusiasm to engage in activism, intellectual activities sometimes are deemed as obstacles to action itself. Actually, this is not uncommon because intellectual endeavor is seen as unnecessary if one really wants to act and deliver fast. And sometimes it is even more unfortunate when intellectual activity is seen not as either acting or doing, but only a facet of anti-intellectualism. Hence, that is why in IRKHSSS, we have one council that is not just cater to academic matters, but also intellectual matters. Our ACE Council, Academic and Intellectual Council, where they created or they organized talks and also organized symposium, as mentioned by Brother Anas before, our main symposium with Professor Kamal Hassan on the idea of establishing the kuliah of Islamic revealed knowledge and Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences itself. Because during this talk, we gain some insight that what is our main philosophy, so that when we are the student leaders, we have our own activism within the organization. We are based on the philosophy of our kuliah itself. There is one thing that we need, that is the reflection on the activism so that we are not becoming anti-intellectual itself. And one thing is the absence of intellectual reflection in youth activisms also means that there is not enough space provided for critical reflection of what we have done during post-mortem of an activity or a program. And we will not have a critical evaluation of our purpose of doing such program or any plan for what has been neglected, absent or underdeveloped during our time and our programs. Instead, those who want to take up the responsibility of social activism within organization must first bear the responsibility to ensure some in-depth exposure and appreciation of the current situation and its intellectual deliberations over the subject and also the issue concerned. And actually the pitfall or the failure of pamphleteering anti-intellectualism must be kept in check, because one must take note that youth intellectual insularity and parochialism that therefore submits to mediocrity. It is the start of either rhetorical activism, just a mere sayings, or the propensity to embrace a mythical hero, a party, a charismatic leader, or worse, to demagogies, which anti-intellectualism pervades extensively. And another, maybe this is, I think this is the shortest one of all, there is methodological yet devoid of vision. Related to our first point on airing activism, when a movement is deprived of intellectual input, the task of activism within an organization remains mechanical and also formulaic. We will have no clear purpose or vision to plan ahead after we have taken the office as the office bearer. And any human endeavor, any student representative mission, which has no clear purpose of mission nor vision for future development will remain stagnant, nor it is able to generate future inspiration to create future leaders. In other words, the zeal to participate in social activism should be informed by a clear vision and a series of effective actions, and also readiness to reflect and readjust the positions, actions we have taken before. In the words of an educational Peter Lavrov, this is also being always being mentioned by our great sociologist, Professor Dr. Sheikh Hussein Alatas. The time has come for cool, conscious workmen, calculated strokes, rigorous thinking, and unswerving patient action in methodological and visionary action. Another one is one thing we call misplaced priorities. When we have taken the office of IRKHSSS, one need to have a clear vision. What is one's priority? Is that tenure's priority to just create programs? Is that tenure's main priority just to cater to welfare? Or is it the tenure's main priority to just engage with the kuliah and disseminate information? And due to this unclear vision, we have something we call misplaced priorities, because we have not given ourselves clear chances, as we mentioned, on critical activism, some reflective activism, to understand what is our main responsibility and our task. And this question of priorities is what engage in social activism that we must seriously consider, because misplaced priorities translates into unproductive activism. For instance, to help our fellow youth or fellow members in AHAS KIRKHSSS to counter the excesses of maybe some popular street culture, is not simply for the claimer of good, but activities that often do not resonate with their lifestyle. Instead, it is to be more empathic to this situation. This is where lies the importance of a diagnostic frame of mind. To solve the problem of youth is not simply through demolishing their antisocial acts, but to understand why such actions prevail and how we as student leaders can provide an alternative avenue for them to express their frustrations, anxiety, and also creativity. Hence, in our programs, we have in our welfare program, for example, for the student to vent their anxiety, their problem. We have peer psychosocial support, and also we have IRKHSS confession, where the students, our fellow members in this kuliah can vent, can express their frustration and anxiety. And for creativity, as I mentioned before, and also mentioned by Brother Anas during his presentation, we have the kuliah logo competition, where the students can vent their creativity, can show that they too want to contribute to the kuliah. So this is the place where we put on priorities into different segments, but still cater to each and individual needs and also individuals' interests within our vast kuliah. And another one is an ethical ambivalence. One thing that we need to understand about ethical ambivalence within activism inside an organization is that activism presupposes the knowledge of commitment to purpose and ideals. Activism as an engagement with human beings actually inevitably is an engagement that have a meaning of commitment to certain subject matters and also issues that student leaders need to cater throughout their tenure. And this inevitability, one thing that we cannot avoid, needs us to be sure of our very own position, to whom we want to serve, support, and also help. As student leaders, of course, it is towards our stakeholder. As mentioned by Brother Anas, our stakeholder is not only the members of our kuliah, not only the students within the kuliah, but also the deanery, and also the departments of this kuliah. And this kind of engagement that is claimed to be made on neutral ground, any engagement that is made within neutral ground, we can say that there is an ethical ambivalence that is actually not uncommon in student activism. For instance, helping the underprivileged poor means we are taking sides of those who are deprived economically and socially, and to help them just because one happens to volunteer is unfortunate actually, because in short, activism must be sure of those whose side we are on as student leaders. And to be an activist only in matters of procedural, only a matter of organizational structure with no human affection means an activism that is devoid of human touch. And I think this is quite important for student leaders in KBS, because our activism is within a very bureaucratic structure. And one thing, in bureaucratic structure, we always forgot that our activism is towards to serve human beings, not just within something that is procedural, something that is mechanical, something that is mechanical, and also something that is without the interaction or engagement of other human beings. And another part that I want to touch is actually on the textual understanding, yet uncontextual understanding of student activism. One thing, being a student or being a student leader is not just about, of course, reading books is important. Reading books is very important in any activism. To understand how activism works is to understand the social structure of the world itself. And this, of course, you might get from experience yourself on the ground, but also you can get it from books you read. For example, maybe this kind of books behind me, all psychology books. And one thing is book learning in schools or in kuliah, in our lecture rooms, often tells us what happens in society. But most of the time, reality actually is in great contrast to the textbook's portrayal. And this something we may term, or as Dr. Ibrahim of National University of Singapore mentioned, methodological activism, which often precedes earlier activism, is often textually derived rather than transpired by conceptual needs and also challenges. Of course, we are not belittling textual knowledge, because as I mentioned, it is part of learning experience. But just reading from text and also devoid of context and also reality actually becomes superfluous, make us become superficial when we are the student leaders and when the context is relegated and denied of its efficacy. Hence, a discerning reading of a text can only be meaningful actually if we link it with our purpose in engaging in our student activism. And I would like to mention something by Edward Said. Edward Said himself said that criticism cannot assume that it is proving is merely the text, not even the great literary text. It must see itself with other discourse inhabiting a much contested cultural space. And once we take the view, then literature is an isolated paddock in the broad culture and field disappears, and with it too the harmless rhetoric of self-delightening humanism. Instead, we will be able to read and write with a sense of greater stake in historical and political effectiveness that literary as well as other texts have had. Next slide. These are another 6 main ideas that I want to brought. The first, I think I mentioned the 6. So this is the 7th main ideas, which is securing vested interests, a social and apolitical preponderance to infantilization, socialization of critical activism, a critical frame of mind, and also the call and the duty. So in securing vested interests, one must understand that activism may not necessarily result in benefiting the subject we want to help or engage. That is the reality of being student leader. There are some points that you might not satisfy the stakeholder, all stakeholders that you are responsible and accountable to, because I must say, in such a competitive society like ours, civic consciousness propels a number of different kinds of activism. But to assume that all engage in social activism as an act of altruism may be some kind of a naive understanding of activism, because when activism is colored not by altruism but by their own vested interest, activism has become a platform for greed, fame, and also narcissism. That is the thing that we want to avoid of student leaders. You are not contesting as student leaders to gain fame, to just build, put more responsibility. Put more positions in your LinkedIn or in your resume. But to be a student leader is to have a responsibility politically and also socially, and to make this platform a platform for those who really wants to serve. Not just because you want to have some fame, because to be a student leader also is to do a job that you might not get some appreciation, but there is something that you must do. That is your responsibility as a student leader. And the next part is asocial and also apolitical. I think since all what we call as substantive activism should be contextually based, as we mentioned in textual yet contextual part, to be blind of the social political realities, to be blind of the context of our own kuliah, means that we are ignoring the dynamics that affect the life of those that we want to help, those who are within our responsibility and our accountability. However, avoiding such apolitical thinking does not mean that we are political, but for the latter, for the political part, has no genuine interest to promote general welfare except to secure certain political interests and agendas. I think, of course, being a student leader and being a student representative in a society within IUM is to have some political interest, but political interest does not translate into partisan interest. Political interest means that you want to serve, because political is a wide subject. It includes social, it includes welfare, and also economic condition of those who you are responsible to. So, as a student leader, you are not to be apolitical. You must be political, because there are some political interests and agendas that you have to secure. And this and our activism itself, because we have some purpose that is one that we can say that sometimes dictated by the exclusive group interest, might be from the higher authority or might be from a certain party. But to be a student leader is to understand how politics works and to be apolitical or political when times actually come. And another one, being a student leader, we must avoid something we term as infantilization, or in Malay we can say keanak-anakan. Because being a student leader, you must be the most mature of all, because this is the biggest kuliah. As mentioned, this is the biggest kuliah in IUM, as mentioned by Brother Anas. And to cater 4,500 students within this vast kuliah, not that students are only a part of our stakeholder. There are higher authorities, there are departments. So one must have a mature understanding of being a student leader to avoid infantilization. And infantilization does not just mean you act unmaturely, but there is something Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher, termed as self-imposed knowledge or self-imposed immaturity. When you are a student leader, you must have independence in thinking of what is the best for all of the stakeholders, not just to listen, not just to be dictated by some entity, maybe some lecturers, you know, wants you to do a program and he or she insisted that you must do her or his program and must not and must be subservient to the authorities. Infantilization is when you listen blindly to this authority and not think of yourself or think of your dependents or those you are accountable to. Another part is socialization of critical activism. Often actually to participate and engage in a community or social work, there is a great motivation to accomplish the task rather than it is within great motivation to accomplish the task in a rather immediate and hasty manner, because of course there are other things that we might want to cater. So accomplishing a task in a rather hasty manner will somewhat makes the program unimpactful. Hence why within our kuliah we have guidelines on what kind of objective that we want to achieve, as mentioned by our guideline ISE, internationalization, education, and also intellectual social and also education, ISE. And this is our guideline so that our programs will not be done in a hasty manner, but in a context that understand the objective and the need of the students of this kuliah. So critical activism pursue us or urges to understand the social context of the kuliah so that our program will be impactful rather than just making program for the sake of program itself. The next one is a critical frame of mind. I think in short, we can say that the idea of critical mind, the idea of universality, without being grounded on particular our kuliah for our context, will become sheer utopia actually, while particularity in contrast is devoid of universal sensibilities, and this will lead to shallow parochialism. And being concrete, being what is mentioned, being concrete is precisely to be in tune with the particular within the context of the kuliah, but still being informed by the idea and also the vision of the universal in our context, the IUM itself. And also in critical activism, this sense of place and context is very important. Every kuliah has its own context. To be a student leader is to understand what is the context, what is the sense of our own kuliah with its philosophy and also with the objective of this kuliah. And the last one is the call and the duty. Youth or student leaders in institution of higher learning, in IPT, will eventually become society's intelligentsia, intellectuals, and provide the leadership for the future. If student leaders as a social group wants to be recognized, they must first demonstrate that they have earned that respect and also recognition, because naturally the educated section in society is the one that bears the great responsibility to the latter. Those in the cohort of educated class, the students, the mahasiswa, must see that with the privilege that they have in their education comes also the responsibility towards the society which they belong to. And the point is succinctly made by, as I mentioned before the name, Peter Lavrov, a member of that small group, the minority who see their pleasure in their own cultivation in seeking out truth and implementing justice, would say to himself, each comfort that I enjoy, each idea that I have had the leisure to acquire or formulate has been brought with the blood, suffering, or toil of millions. This means that the moral obligation of educated class, the students, to their society has directly or indirectly made them the privileged group of intelligentsia in society, and the youth see their social engagement as both their duty and their right. I have written an article on IIMSU website on the idea of duty and right in student activism, where I mentioned that the student, in understanding their rights, the student must first understand their duties. Because the thing is, we always scream that, oh, this is our rights, I want this kind of rights, but rights come with duty. Students cannot have the rights of the farmers because you are not performing the duty of the farmers, and vice versa, the farmers will not have the rights of the student because they are not performing the duty of the students. So to have the rights of the student, to chant the voice of rights, is to have first understanding of the duty of the student leaders themselves, not just towards its society, but towards the kuliah and the larger society as the educated class of the larger society itself. I think that is all from me. I pass back the floor to Brother Anas. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Brother Aliff Naif, for the presentation on student activism. Just like Brother Aliff Naif has mentioned, being in a society that is bureaucratic in nature, or a system that is full of level and bureaucracy, that doesn't mean that we have to stop thinking on what can we contribute best in terms of using our intellectual capacity as a student of a university, especially as a student of Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kulliyah of Islamic Knowledge and Human Sciences. Now, as we have listened to all four presentations by me, Sister Dayini, Sister Nazifah, and Brother Aliff, before we end, I would like to ask each one of them to give their hope to all of those aspiring individuals that would like to run. What may be your advice for them, as we have spent 1 year in IRKHSS Student Society. So what type of advice that you would like to give in terms of the preparation before they run in the election? We will start with Nazifah first.
All right. Assalamualaikum, everyone. To all AHAS KIRKHSS students that are watching the FB Live right now. So I am Nazifah Ibrahim, the Secretary 2 of IRKHSS Student Society 2021. First of all, I would like to say all the best to the candidates that are going to join the election, KIRKHSS election on this 9 December. We'll start the nomination form. The nomination form will be open on 29 November 2021. So all I can say is Brother Aliff as well as has mentioned just now that it's very important to be participating in student society, and I really encourage all of you, if you have any plan to join the election later, I would say just go for it. Just go for it, join the election. Make sure, not make sure. And I really hope that whoever will be going to be elected as the line-up for the IRKHSSS Student Society 2021 and 2022 will benefit from our tenure. Right now, the explanation of this workshop as well, the programs that have been conducted, maybe all of you can refer from the programs that have been conducted from during our tenure. And I really hope that you guys can enjoy the process being in student society, because after all, this is the experience that you are going to have as a student leaders. And I think that's all from me. Okay, thank you so much. All the best, everyone.
Thank you very much, Nazifah. A good, I would say, encouragement for all to just go for it. Just go for it. Being a student representative does not have its disadvantages, because making your friends happy will make you happy, inshallah. Now we will listen from Aliff. What are your hopes for the aspiring representative of AHAS KirkHS?
Thank you, Brother Anas. I think, as I mentioned, as mentioned by Sister Nazifah, just join the election. You might not know what you will learn becoming a student leader, because being a student leader is not to be informed first, then being a student leader. Being informed or gaining knowledge is throughout. Before you are joining a student leader or being a student leader is a journey to understand and to gain knowledge. I have been a year within IRKHSSS, and I'm still learning a lot from Brother Anas, from Sister Dayini, Brother Fakrudin, Sister Amni, Sister Nazifah, and Sister Amira Yasmin, and also from all of our subcommittees, all of the council within IRKHSSS, and they taught me different things. And I think if I was not running in the election, I might not gain all of this knowledge that I am having now. And I think that I might just be some student that chant on activism, but without real duties, without real responsibilities. And then I will just, as I mentioned, we will just chant on rights, but not of duties. So be a student leader, spread your activism in your student leadership in this organization. There are many seats. There are 7 seats on the main boards. There are 11 more seats from the department, 10 more seats in the department. And also there are, you can also join the committees once the main board has been formed. But still, if you want to taste what being a leader firsthand, conducting as an intermediate, as an intermediary organization from the kuliah, and also between the kuliah and also the students of AHAS KirkHS, then I urge you to join the election. And if you are not joining the election, please vote during the election and choose your leaders. That is one of the way when you can speak up your voices. I think that's all from me. Thank you, Brother Anas.
Thank you very much, Brother Aliff. Knowing your rights and knowing your duties. So this is a call of action and a call of duty for everyone to represent your department or to represent your kuliah as a student representative in AHAS KirkHS. Now we will listen from Sister Dayini. What may be your hopes and what are your advice to those that are still thinking, well, should I run or should I not? What is your expectation for those that are still afraid to step up?
Honestly, I hope to see new faces for the upcoming tenure. I hope to see more international students participating in the student society, because this is your kuliah as well. And I'm hoping to see new students, even without experience. You guys can still gain experience in this journey of being a student representative. I hope if you guys are looking for the sign, this is your sign. Like, previous sister Nazifah and brother Aliff just said previously, just go for it. You guys have nothing to lose. If you guys got it, you guys good luck. You guys got the responsibility and you guys got to work and meet so many new people and gain new experience and etc. But if you guys didn't, it's not the end of the world. At least you guys know what to expect. You guys have the experience of running for election already, and you guys know where and what to improve next. So there's actually no loss in running for this election, honestly. So if it's meant for you, you will get it. If it's not your loss anyway. You gain new experience. So I really ask you guys to join international new experienced students. This is your time. When is the next time that you guys gonna run for student society, department level, kuliah level? Just go for it. You know, take the chance. Like, time is so short. So, you know, so go for it. And then last, I would say that, I also hope that the current or the previous tenure, my junior who is in our tenure, still run for the next tenure, because as much as I want to see new faces, I also want to see the one who still knows how it works, pave the way, you know, lead the inexperienced and the new students that participate in the student society. So it's a good combination. So I hope to see a new colors in our society. And I hope you guys can be better than us, even though we have set a high standard. I would also like to say that even though a good leader like Anas, the president itself is a very good leader that lead the way, but the society is not about one-man show. I'm not saying that Anas is a one-man person. Anas is not. He's very inclusive. He includes everybody. So it's like a family. It's not a one-man show. Society is like a game of a leader leading all the leaders, leading all the people that are skillful in their specific area. So everybody is doing a great job at their specific role. So that's why I think we worked the best, and we did try to do our best this tenure, because everybody knows where is their specialties at and try to do their very best at their area. So I hope that if you guys know where is your area of specialty at, if you're good at, you know, writing messages, if you guys are not good at being frontliners, but is good at writing things and stuff, maybe you guys can try the secretary post or the IPCC information publication, corporate communication post. You guys can help to enhance and develop your corporate communication skills, writing skills. So the society is not only for extrovert people. You introvert people can also try, okay? So I hope that you guys remember to take the shot. You guys have nothing to lose. And I wish the next senior best of luck. And you guys know that you guys can hit us anytime. Like, we're not dead. We're still in the campus. So you guys can just ask us anytime for any guidance or tips, okay? So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you can, Roger, contact any of us. Our numbers are all there in social media. It is spread everywhere throughout the world. So you can know where to find any of us to maybe ask for advice, ask for our opinions, because we will still be here in AHAS KIRKHS. We're still young, alhamdulillah. So I would like to recall what Sister Dayini said. If you're looking for a sign, this is your sign. It won't come in your dream. It won't come from anybody else. It has come now. So step forward, because it will be a journey that you will not forget. I have been in IRKHSS Student Society for 2 years, since March 2020. So it has been quite a long time for me being in a kuliah, and it was worth it in terms of my personal capacity, which is not my priority, but in terms of assisting our friends in AHAS KIRKHS, because putting a smile on somebody else's faces will make a smile in our faces, inshallah. So with that, I would like to end our workshop today, AHAS KIRKHS election workshop, with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.